Now. Welcome everyone to the Ordinary Council meeting of the Wellington Shire Council on the 1st of August 2023. Just because we have Councillor Crosley online, Councillor Crosley, can you see and hear me?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I can see and hear you.
Thank you, Councillor Crosley. Members of the public gallery should note that Council records and publishes Council meetings via YouTube to enhance the accessibility of Council meetings to the broader Wellington community. These recordings are also archived and may be published on Council's website for viewing by the public or used for publicity or information purposes. At the appropriate times during the meeting, members of the gallery may address the Council, at which time their image, comments or submissions will be recorded. Members of the public who are not in attendance at the Council meeting but who wish to communicate with the Council via the online web form should lodge their questions or comments early in the meeting to ensure that their submissions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. Please could gallery visitors, councillors and invited online attendees ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Our mission, working together to make a difference. We listen and lead to provide quality services that improve life for all. Wellington Shire Council acknowledges our offices are located on the traditional lands of the Gunai-Kurnai Nation. We pay our deep respects to their elders, past, present and future, and acknowledge their ongoing cultural and spiritual connections to their lands and waters. We have no apologies for tonight's meeting. Is there any declarations of conflicts of interest? No? Can I have someone at item 3.1, adoption of minutes of the previous council meeting? Councillor Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council adopt the minutes and resolutions of the ordinary council meeting of the 18th of July 2023.
And second by Councillor McKenzie. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Happy with that, Councillor Wood?
Yes, thanks, Mayor.
Item 4, business arising from previous meetings, there are none. Item 5, acceptance of late or urgent items, there are none. Item 6, notices of motion, there are none. Item 7, outstanding petitions, there are none. Is there anyone with invited addresses, presentations or acknowledgements? No, I have one. Last night I was invited across to the Maffra Secondary School and I must say it was a really pleasant experience. They were doing an update on their school review and design in 2021 that they undertook, and they went through how their finances are going and how the school has gone since that 2021 school review. It was really pleasing to see that the school acknowledged that they had a few shortfalls, one of those being English results. They've undertaken since 2001 to rectify the problems they were having in the school, and by golly, have they improved. When they are now ranked with like schools with socio-economic similarities, they are now ranked a lot higher than other schools. It's a real credit over the 2 years what that school has been able to achieve. They even in 2002 won the Victorian SRC Student Voice and School of the Year, which was just fantastic. They even have got involved in the Indigenous. They're very good at involving the Indigenous community. They renamed one of their rooms to be Talmaru. What Talmaru is, it means in Indigenous language, inspire to learn. It's a real credit what they have done in that school. They employ 64 full-time equivalent staff. Well, when you put the part-timers in, it's actually 90 team members that actually operate that school over in Maffra. But what they have actually done to increase the stats compared to other schools is a real credit to the school. So I congratulate Jen and the team over there to what they have actually done. The only problem I'd like to outline, I think it's a problem that's across all the state, which the state government really needs to do something with, is the teacher shortage. Again, a real credit to the school. Even Jen herself, the principal, has had to go back into the classroom to make sure they have enough teachers to do the great job they do with educating students. So it'd be nice if the state government can offer more incentives to help with the teacher shortage, because it's a great example of a fine school in Wellington Shire that is doing a marvellous job. So congratulations again. Item 9, questions on notice. We have none. Item 10, delegates reports. Do we have any?
Yes, Mayor.
Councillor Crosley.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Council for enabling me to attend the Australian Wind Energy 2023 in Melbourne on the 25th and 26th of last month. It was a great privilege to attend, and really vital information and engagement for what will be our future of renewable energy industry in Wellington. The Australian Wind Energy Conference is the largest in Australia, and it also partnered with the Australian H2 Innovation, which was connecting green hydrogen. They were focusing on the strategic roadmap towards offshore and onshore wind development, and also wind investment and technical innovation. It was also a showcase of support technologies, and there was a very fascinating area where you could go and visit the trades, technologies and large-scale innovations, things as big as the manufacturers of the pylons, both floating and fixed for the wind farms offshore, right down to the LiDAR detection for flight to recognise the flight paths of birds. So it was really an extraordinary and amazing experience. The other thing that was really amazing, that everybody knew about the Gippsland New Energy Conference coming up in September, at the end of September, 30th of August and to the 2nd of September. So that was really quite rewarding to know when you said I came from Wellington Shire. They first thought wasn't New Zealand, but it was Gippsland, so that was true. The other thing that I was able to attend was the Women of Wind, and that was a new initiative that has been set up by a couple of names that we know quite well in Gippsland. One of the founding directors is Erin Coldman, which is the Chief Development Officer of Star of the South, and very well known to the council and to the community for their great engagement with the community for their proposed development of the offshore wind farm. There was Mary Barry, who has been involved in DECA, which is the Department of Climate Adaptation and New Industries, Offshore Renewable Energy, Jobs and Skills, and Circular Economy, and she's been working with us on developing in the working group for the Gippsland New Energy web portal project. And Naomi Kemp, Principal Environment Consulting at Exodus, and Emily Scaviti, who is the Chief Operating Officer of OceanX Energy. So a powerful group of 4 women who have come together to both celebrate and foster the support of women in offshore wind industries and its complementary technologies underpinning the supply chain, and the belief in shattering glass ceilings, amplifying voices and driving positive change. The take out of it was that currently there's only 8% of women in leadership roles in this new energy, and it was clearly stated if we are only using 50% of the population to draw the skills and the workforce for this new transformation, we will fall short. So it was a really invigorating conference, a great celebration. Lily D'Ambrosi, the MP, and the Minister for just about everything in energy, resources, climate action and the SEC. She was there to launch the official event. Daniel Miller was invited to give an acknowledgement to country as all this new transmission and new energy will be on Gunai land and water. So it was a great culmination and a very exciting event, and they're all looking forward to meeting us all again at the Gippsland New Energy Conference that will be right where you are and in the wedge. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crosley. Item 11.1, Assembly of Councillors. Someone to move that, please.
I'll move that, Mayor.
Councillor Marr.
I move that Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Councillor records for the period 10th of July 2023 to the 23rd of July 2023.
And seconded by Councillor Tatterson. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried.
I'd just like to note, Mayor, that under our new Local Government Act 2020, the reporting of this information is no longer required. However, with the aim of transparency and good governance, Council continues to provide this information of meetings attended by councillors and subjects discussed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item 11.2, Review of Conflict of Interest Acceptance and Declaration of Gifts and Hospitality and Investment Council Policies. Someone to move that, please.
Yes, Mayor.
Councillor Stevens.
I'm happy to move that Council adopt the revised Conflict of Interest Policy, Acceptance and Declaration of Gifts and Hospitality Policy and Investment Policy as attached.
And someone to second that? Councillor Wood. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor
Well,
Stevens.
thank you, Mayor. As per our normal governance processes, the Council maintains a policy manual. The policy manual is, as a rule, reviewed annually for all policies. It is available, and it is available on the Council website for public perusal. And as well as that process, the Council also has the Audit and Risk Committee examine 3 key policies per Audit and Risk Committee meeting. So at the recent Audit and Risk Committee, these 3 policies were considered. Audit and Risk Committee members had input into possible changes, and the Council is now being asked to update the 3 policies and to adopt them for inclusion in the policy manual. So they, well, obviously conflict of interest is a fairly key issue as far as local government is concerned, and there are requirements under the Local Government Act. And if you look at the policy, you will see that those issues in relation to conflict of interest and declarations of same are actually part of this policy. Acceptance and declaration of gifts is also fairly detailed. The investment policy is probably the smallest of a lot, and from memory was one that had very little change, if any change actually made to it by Audit and Risk. So I commend those new policies to Council and encourage anybody in the community to have a look at our policies and make any input that they would like to. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Item 12.1, Proposed Sale of Land or Road, rear of 268 to 278 National Park Road, Loch Sport. Someone to move that, please.
I'm happy to move that, Mayor.
Councillor Marr.
I move that Council, 1, pursuant to Section 114 of the Local Government Act 2020, Section 206(1), including Clause 3 of Schedule 10 and Section 223 of the Local Government Act 1989, Council resolved to advertise its intention to discontinue and to sell the road abutting the rear of 268 to 278 National Park Road, Loch Sport by private treaty, and 2, that Council place a public notice of the proposal in a new local newspaper and serve a copy of the notice on abutting property owners and statutory authorities, and 3, that Council appoint 3 councillors, being Councillor Marr, Councillor Stevens and Councillor Mackenzie, plus an alternate representative, being Councillor By, to form the Road Discontinuance Committee 268-278 National Park Road that is established by Council under Section 223 1BI of the Local Government Act 1989 to consider written submissions, objections, and to hear any persons who in their written submission under Section 223 of the Local Government Act 1989 have requested that they be heard in support of their submission objection, and 4 and 5 as read.
And seconded by Councillor Rossetti. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Marr.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. The owners of 268 to 278 National Park Road have applied to purchase the unused road reserve that is to the rear of their property. It has been deemed, after an internal review of council officers, that land is not required for council use or community purposes in the foreseeable future. So moving forward, public notices will be placed in the local newspapers and provided to the neighbouring property owners as per legislative requirements. And subject to this, a private treaty at market value will be considered in accordance to council's policy, the sale, exchange and acquisition of land one. So it's very good.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item 13.1, quick response grants, March 2023 to June 2023. Someone to move that, please.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Ripper.
I'd like to move that Council note the information regarding applications received under the Quick Response Grant, QRGS, for the period March 2023 to June 2023, as listed in the attached document.
And someone to second that? Oh, I think we'll go with Councillor Wood. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. The Quick Response Grants aims to fulfil a community need by providing a turnaround for funding and provides an opportunity for the community to access fundings outside the community grants timeline. The grants supports the delivery of projects that demonstrate positive impacts on the wider Wellington community. Eligible projects submitted under this program are assessed within 2 weeks. Not-for-profit community groups operating in the Wellington Shire can apply for up to $2,500. Up to $500 is available to the individual sportsmanship category, and up to $1,500 is available in the teams and community grants category. An amount of $14,870 was granted in this round, and I will go through a few of those. We had the Rosedale Cemetery, and their activity was the installation of security surveillance cameras of $2,070. The activity description is due to the increased damage and vandalism at the cemetery. An advanced security surveillance system was installed. And the Maffra Municipal Band, they had a Teddy Bears dance picnic, applied and was granted $1,300. The dance party for the young and the young at heart to the popular classical tunes presented by a live 35-piece Maffra concert band. And an organisation was the Sale Maffra Badminton Association, the Sale Maffra Veterans Badminton Tournament. $2,500. It's an annual badminton tournament for the veteran players aged 35 plus, held over 2 days. And we have some successful teams, groups, individuals here. We have a Cassie Farley, Athletics Australia. She competed in the 2023 Australian Junior Under 13 to 18 Track and Field Championship in Brisbane, $500. Xanthi Wade, Global Amateur Tour Show Jumping, $500. And Tess O'Toole, Gymnastics Australia, $500. So there's just a few areas where people have applied and have been successful, and the money is available by going onto your website and by doing a little bit of research and applying. If you don't apply, you can't expect to get the money. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper. So we'll move now to gallery comments. If there's anyone in the gallery that'd like to come forward and address the councillors, just state your name. Wait till you get up, Mary, so we can hear. Yeah.
Say it again.
Yes, thank you.
It's still Mary Joanna Veronica. Okay, back to the wind turbines. I really have a problem with them. I mean, we all really have a problem with them. They are very, very bad for the environment. I don't know how you don't find the research for it. Anyway, this I found on the computer. David Whitehead from DW Truth Warrior. So I did as the government asked, and I looked at the science when it came to climate change, and this is what I found according to Australian figures. Australia is producing 499 million metric tonnes of carbon dioxide per year. I'll just go and get my glasses. Oh, okay. I'll start again. Australia is producing 499 million metric tonnes of carbon dioxide per year. But what I also found is that one mature tree will absorb 48 pounds or 21.77 kilograms of carbon dioxide per year. And Australia currently has 24 billion standard sized trees absorbing 453 million metric tonnes of carbon dioxide per year. And that is trees. It doesn't include any other plant life, and particularly doesn't include mangroves, and mangroves will absorb 50 times more carbon dioxide per year than a standard sized tree. So why is the government hell-bent on cutting down trees in order to install solar farms or wind turbines, when it seems quite obvious from the science that nature has already provided the solution to the problem? Go figure. Okay, and then there's one from Peter D. Clark, and it's not fossil fuel. Oil and gas can form on the Earth's biosphere in as little as 4 years, Australian research found. The study came out before global warming scam was widespread, and it was buried. Oil and gas are not fossil fuel sediments and are unlikely to ever run out. In other words, go figure again. And then there's this one from Professor Ian Plimmer, geologist. He says, "We are not living in a period of extraordinary climate. We are living in a very benign climate. We are actually still living in an ice age. That ice age started on a Tuesday 34 million years ago, and it is still going, and it fluctuates between cold of glacial and warm periods of interglacial. At the moment, we are in one of those interglacial periods. Those interglacials are driven by that great ball of heat in the sky we call sun. For some reason, a trace of gas, CO2, has nothing to do with our climate. If we get further away from the sun, it gets cooler. If we get closer to the sun, it gets warmer. No legislation from Canberra or from the UN can change the orbit of the Earth. Everything, even we, need CO2. Without it, the Earth is doomed." And here we have a nice picture of some of the the arms for the wind turbines. In Australia, this footage is from a discarded wind farm where turbines are left to rot on the ground, leaching toxicity. It isn't economically viable to recycle them, neither are solar panels, so they are discarded. There's nothing renewable about them. So actually there's two photographs with the same heading. I had a bit of trouble getting everything together today. And then I also have this from Stop the Crime, Wind Farms Hazards. Did you know about this? Under an ionised sky. This is a little bit past me, so I'll just have to read it and that's it. Indiana, USA and many other locations are deploying wind farms. Wind farms are a worldwide deployment. Wind farms and fracking wells stems. And are wind turbines changing the weather? Visit a wind farm and you will quickly notice that life appears to have fled, which is strange given how many think of wind farms as green energy. While driving through Western Ontario, Canadian activist Suzanne Marr noted that what was once a beautiful landscape and farmland has been replaced by hundreds of massive, imposing wind turbines. People in homes close to the turbines do not seem to realise they are living inside a power station that operates by creating low-pressure systems with blades on each turbine at a 15-degree angle from the oncoming wind. That's 7.5 degrees this way and 7.5 that way. So as to produce a torrid, straight-line wind tunnel. Public protests are usually about the valuation of real estate and noise, but the pulsating itself is dangerous to mental and physical health. The infrasound and low-frequency noise produce what is being called the wind turbine syndrome. Headaches, sleep problems, night terrors, learning disabilities, ringing in the ear, mood swings, irritability, anxiety, concentration and memory problems, the equilibrium issues like dizziness and nausea. From the Mariana Islands to Hawaii through the Kwajalein Atoll, a line of transmitters fires northeast in a repeating pulse in an invisible wall of radio waves all the way to Alaska that creates a funneling effect. Fire radio frequency into a front that's been seeded with aluminium nanoparticles, and a plasma-dense field arises while the pressure wall of Mexico acts like a bumper on a billiard table to roll the weather system north along the Californian Oregon coastline to Vancouver Island, and the jet stream ready to be pushed east and south through Wyoming and Dakota and into Kansas, where NextRad and wind farm pulses will kick in to build high pressure for tornadoes, superstorms and floods. I know this is all in America, but what happens over there can happen over here too. Wind farms and hydraulic fracking wells are separated by exactly 300 miles, like wind towers, then calibrated together. Fracking wells provide grounding points for wind farms while creating new fault lines for earthquake terraforming. According to Billy Hayes, the harp man, the brine in the wells heads of all new wells is treated with absorbents like aluminium oxide and barium oxide being laid in chemtrails. Lovely. The directional explosive is then packed into the well to create perforations in the casing for about 20 feet out, so the acid seeps down into the brine mix on top. This redosing must penetrate the casing because without water it will float to the top of the well. Wind turbines and oil wells stems have the same resonant length of 1,282 feet. Each rotation of a wind turbine gives off a powerful static charge. In fact, every time the turbines pulse at 2.95 Hertz in a 1 nanosecond pulses, the liquid mixture at the wellhead jumps 20 pounds up and 20 pounds down, 3 tons per second, like a hammer. This is called thumping. The discharge of the wind farm occurs in an arc at a certain length and a certain pulse that resonates with wells tuned to 2.95 Hertz. Put your hand on the casing and feel it twitch like it's alive. Both wind farms and fracking well stems have a part to play in the space fence infrastructure along ionosphere heaters, Nix, Rads, Sal and Gwen towers, etc. It is because of how the pulse together that nations like Scotland and states like Oklahoma won't be allowed to ban for long the unconventional practice of fracking. It says see a website, warborough.foundation.org.au, and the YouTube, Are the Wind Turbines Changing the Weather? And How Stuff Works on the 24th of June 2013. Clare Burnish, Scotland just banned fracking forever. Clare Burnish, and then Scotland just banned fracking forever, in August 6, 2016. And then Emily Atkin, fracking bans are no longer allowed in Oklahoma. Climate regress, June 2015. And the geoengineering trilogy, geoengineered transhumanism, how the environment has been weaponised by chemicals, electromagnesium and nanotechnology for synthetic biology, under an ionised sky from chemtrails to space fence lockdown. And then chemtrails, HARP, and the full spectrum. HARP is jolly dangerous. Anyway. Rudolf Steiner, in our time, the most important thing is to bring forward truths. Mark that, truths. But put plainly, to give lectures about truths. What people then do about this is up to their freedom. We should go no further than lecture on the community truths. Whatever consequence there are should follow as a free decision, such as consequences follow when decisions are made out of the impulses one has on a physical plane. It is exactly the same in the case of things that can only be guided by the spiritual world itself. Secret brotherhoods and the mystery of the human double endure. So, and actually, I'd like to read this, a prayer.
Mary, we try to keep to 3 minutes, so we're being very generous. If you could be a bit quicker with the rest, that'd be great.
I've been over 3 minutes.
Oh, you've probably been about 15 minutes. So if we could,
it didn't seem like long.
If we could be very quick, or
all right. So you'd like me to leave that?
Yes. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Mary. Is there anyone else from the gallery who'd like to come up? Just state your name and try and keep to 3 minutes or a bit over would be great. Thank you.
Quicker, I hope. Graham James from Gilliandale, the old Gilliandale pub. Sorry to bore you with more wind farm stuff, but I'm here on behalf of Noarlunga, Guardians of Noarlunga. We're still opposing the Gilliandale wind farm. This wind farm was originally approved by the state government as the Eldon wind farm. It was overturned at VCAT because It didn't comply with the Wellington planning scheme. This current version, the Gilliandale Wind Farm, still does not conform with the Wellington planning scheme, and yet some of the councillors here seem to be supporting it. I don't think we've had a reasonable opportunity to present at council the full case for not supporting this. Andrew Pomeroy pointed out to me that there were few houses in the vicinity of these turbines. This is a list of the residences and the distances from the turbines. It's out to the viewpoint, the viewing area of 5 kilometres. Last time it was a requirement that they provide visual mitigation up to that distance, because these are very dominant on the landscape, or will be if by chance this is approved. I think I was up to 300 and something houses in that area. A considerable number of these houses will in fact be legal. Well, there are 4 houses that will be mandatory, banned from anyone living in, and there's a whole lot more houses that really you won't be able to live in. It's not an appropriate development for the Wellington Council. It's a bad project to kick off Wellington's renewable energy drive. It'll do more damage than good. So if anybody would like to have a look at the list, I'll update this as I go, but this basically is how many houses are in that.
Thank you, Graham. If you could give those details to Dean at the end, and we'll make sure they get sent around to all the councillors. Is there anyone else from the gallery? Feel free to come forward and state your name.
Hi, hello, my name's Gay Harper.
I'm Suzanne Morris.
And we're both in Sale. A couple of weeks ago, we had a Member of Parliament on Facebook talking about this beautiful book. I say that with tongue in cheek. It's called Welcome to Sex. And there's things in here that I didn't even know, and I'm nearly 63 years old. However, it's very graphic.
It's sickening.
It's absolutely disgusting. And I've got a broad mind. It talks about penis size, it talks about vaginas, it's got pictures of it. It talks about 69ers. Scissoring.
We went, what's that?
Maybe if we can keep it appropriate for the meeting with the terms that are in the book, but make us aware probably of what is in there. Yeah.
It's in the book.
It's in the book.
We don't need to know that.
Right.
Well, I just wanted to let you know how graphic it is.
Yep.
It's absolutely appalling. Now, this was originally designed for 8-year-olds and up. Yes, you may raise your eyebrows. It then got such a backlash that it was then aged from 11 and up. Now, I don't know, there's a group of us have been going around Sale trying to get this off the shelves. I wouldn't even show it to my 35-year-old, let alone my 10-year-old granddaughter. So from where I'm looking at, this is a pedophile's dream come true. It's a handbook on normalising sexuality for minors, basically. So I applaud you to get it off out of your library. It's in your library. We have had some success today with Target and Big W. Collins are not on board, but we're pursuing that as well. And I ask you to put your moral caps on and do something about it, please. This is absolutely appalling. You got anything to say?
I just agree. It's
It's a grooming book, as far as I'm concerned. It is for grooming.
There's many books that you can buy that are very informative for children and parents to go through together, but not this. This one is actually shocking. Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Thank you, ladies, for bringing
Thank
that to attention. If you could make sure you show that to Dean so he can actually write the details down of the book.
I've got it.
We've got it, that's fine. Thank you very much, ladies. Is there anyone else in the gallery that would like to come forward? No? If not, we'll go to online comments. Mr CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. We have one online comment tonight from Mr Alan Haywood of Pearsondale, and Mr Haywood's question is, and I'll read it, Mayor, it's not too long. Some years ago I suggested to my shire that they should do as other shires do, and that is record in the meeting minutes the whole question or comment from the ratepayer and then include the shire's response in the minutes. This way all of us can be informed as to what is said. Can our shire please publicise the question and the answer? Thank you. So Mayor, Mr Haywood has asked this before, and I shall draft up a response to him that is in accordance with our governance rules and meeting rules, and provide council with a copy of that and send it to Mr Haywood.
Thank you, Mr CEO. In light of that, there's no other business. We'll close the meeting at 5:40. Thank you, everyone.